how do you know, the strange territory of Puerto Rico is regarded by the Crown?
You mean the island Puerto Rico is? Well, that was taken up by the United States in 1917.
What, the status of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, that was 1898 is when Spain gave it up.
Right. Oh, yeah, we're forced to.
Yeah.
The first.
In fact, that was the Spanish-American War, and my uncle, we buried him on the day that Kennedy was shot. That's how I remember. It's also my wife's birthday. So he fought in that Spanish-American War also. So I have some stories that still are in my memory from what he used to tell me.
But I mean, I do believe everybody's in tow to the bankers. But ooh, what's that? But I'm wondering well, we might know what that is, right, I-Man?
Yeah, right.
Hello, whoever's there. But can you hear that?
It was like a click or something.
It was like a.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, there was two of those, and that's not somebody calling me usually. It's a little different, but anyway.
It was probably the FBI tapping the line.
Okay, I'm glad you said it. So,
well, I let them know if they tap my line. I just talk to them once in a while. I says, I hope you guys are getting a good earful, because I don't know what you're learning, but you're not learning much from me.
Well,
yeah, I heard that again.
Yeah, when I get a call, it's two intonations, and it's not just that one solid beep. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm sure we're going to find out later, and you'll tell me, oh man, I'm wondering if they're doing this to jam us,
Yeah, because I don't have call waiting on this phone. I just got the cheapest phone, no frills.
That's it, you got it. All right, moving on then, if we could. The thing about Puerto Rico, though, are they looked at as part of the United States, do you think, or do you know, in the eyes of the Crown?
Well, they're a territory of the United States, yeah, and that's why they have representatives in Washington, but they can't vote. They have, congressmen in Puerto Rico. There's 3 of them, and they're in Puerto Rico, but they can't vote.
So what's the significance then of having the representation? Nothing?
Nothing.
Makes it look good?
It's just to make it look good, I guess.
But that means, in a sense, they don't have the hooks into them then, do they?
No, but the Crown does. The Crown still owns that, because anything the United States acquired from Spain is the same. It's the same principle. All
right, then my question about the territory, I think, is even best answered here then, and that is, if you're involved with the United States,
yes,
you're hooked in.
Because the territory. All right, everybody. There was an article that came over the email yesterday, and it was really good. It went back into a lot of the history and was talking about, the territory in the United States can't go outside of certain bounds and meets and whatnot of Washington, D.C., but the problem is that would be good if there was a true republic, but this is a fascist democracy that we're operating in today, and there is no republic. If you go back, and this is why I say it's very critical to look up definitions. Now, I have some definitions here that I was going to start with. I can't read them all because it would take me all the rest of probably about 40 minutes to go through every definition. But you'd have to get the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, the Newberry House Dictionary, 1999 issue, and Webster's Revised Dictionary of 1913, because it's interesting that you must go to the dictionary at that time when that law was written, because that's where they generally get it. And the reason why I chose Webster's 1913 dictionary unabridged was that's when the income tax was written.
Right.
Now, if you notice when you read the first income tax, it says at home. Whether abroad or at home. So when you go in, you wonder, well, at home, everybody thinks the country, right? No, that's not true. The dictionary definition of at home in the 1913 Webster's Revised Dictionary is the seat of government. Nothing else. Doesn't mean the entire 48 states, 50 states, when it was drafted. It meant the seat of government, Washington, D.C. That's what the definition of at home meant in the 1913 income tax.
Now, having said that, and just referring back, if you can, is there some kind of significance then to the 14th Amendment that a lot of people don't get regarding the district?
Yes.
Could you tell us what that is?
Okay. Again, we have to go back to the beginning of a republic. A republic is, if you read the definition of a republic and you go all the way back through the etymology of the word, it simply means a corporation. So when everybody says, well, I want a republic, we got to get back to you got a Republican government. And Texas versus White was a very good case where they said that only Congress can what is a Republican government. In other words, in Texas versus White, they said that if a state wanted to join the Union, it would have to be a Republican government. And then it said that only Congress can determine and make the determination of what a Republican government is for that area to join the Union.
All right, so
going back, a republic is really a corporation.
So that would be the reason, I take it, given the color of that definition of republic,
right,
that the federal government had to, if you will, re-lean on several southern states to make sure that they help ratify the 14th.
Yeah, okay. Now let's get back. Washington, George W., in 1791 destroyed the Republic at the time, as how it was originally set up, the Constitution. And how he did that is because with Hamilton, who was the front man for the crown, because his father's name was Levine. He was a Jewish person. He came over to the island of Nuevis, and before he did, he changed his name to Hamilton. He married Rachel Fawcett, who was a mulatto, and they had Alexander. Now, Alexander was primed. By the time he was 15, they sent him back to the crown because his father was part of the Jewish bankers at the time.
So
all right,
we can infer then that Hamilton might have known one of the Rothschilds.
Oh yes, oh definitely.
Or
yeah,
Levine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And so when he came back over here, he was appointed to the Secretary of Treasury. You know, he was the man. So he convinced Washington that they needed a bank. Well, the Constitution did not provide for the bank. So they went ahead, and Jefferson, a man named Stimson, and I can't remember the other, it escapes me right now. We have the letters from them stating that there was no way the Constitution gave them the authority to create any bank. But they went ahead and did it anyway. So in 1791, Washington created the district states. That means he overwrote on every land a district state. In other words, a state upon a state. And the reason they did that is because the banks who were first set up were private banks owned by the crown. What they did was the bank had been sued by the state of Maryland, wanted to tax it. And John Marshall, who was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, owned 7,200 shares of the foreign bank. He was listed as a foreign stockholder. He was an American, he was the United States, and he was still listed as a foreign stockholder because of the bank being foreign to this country. It was called the first bank in the United States, but that doesn't mean it belonged to the United States. It was just the first bank in the United States. And it was private and foreign. So he ruled for the bank, because had he not ruled for the bank and let the state of Maryland control it and tax the bank, he would have lost all of his shares, and it would have proven that the bank was not in total control of everything in this country. And that's why Washington in 71 created the districts, so that the district courts could sit any time a bank ran into trouble. That is where the district courts of the United States emanated from.
To protect the banks.
Yes, to protect the banks, that's all.
You know, it seemed to me strange